Hello, this is Vance, and this is Monday, March the 6th, 2017. These are the CL trades for today using the slow hand method for price action. I apologize for not being around the last couple of weeks. I had kind of a medical emergency. Well, actually, not a medical emergency, more like a teeth emergency. I had 2 weeks ago, I had to go to the dentist because I had one of my teeth was bothering me. When they took an x-ray and they discovered I had a couple of problems, notwithstanding sensitivity with hot and cold, which was killing me. But more importantly, I had an infection. And so they had to take care of that. Antibiotics, painkillers, that sort of thing. I've been at the dentist 3 times. My last appointment was on Friday, this last Friday, and spent about 2 hours in the chair there with my mouth hanging open, and that was sore. In fact, my mouth is still sore today. It was 3 days ago, and especially my lip where it was hanging on that drill thing, whatever. Anyway, it seems to be much better now. They're still a little bit sensitive, but they're not nearly the way they were, and they're old injuries that I had playing sports. I got one cap knocked off and a tooth knocked out playing hockey, and other problems, but they come back to haunt you later in life. You have to don't realize that, and you don't realize. I never realized, like, I've never really had any real teeth problems in the past, except for when I got knocked out, of course. But when they get sore, and because of the sensitivity and because of abrasion or whatever he was talking about, they had to work on them for quite a while. And I had 3 appointments in the last 2 weeks, and freezing and drilling, and don't realize that even though the freezing's in there, when the freezing comes out, teeth are really sensitive for the next couple of days. Because they've been so disturbed, and the nerve is all kind of wired. Or because the guy's been drilling on your teeth. I mean, with, just drilling him. So, anyway, I'm pretty much back to normal. They're still a little bit sore. But, anyways, I'll get back to doing this, doing my thing here. I'm going to talk a little bit later on about the Mindful Trading Program. Now, I'm going to talk about that because I've got enough people to enroll in it. But I'm going to postpone the mindful trading, but I've got something that I want to put in place that'll probably be beneficial to everybody even the individuals who have committed to mindful trading. What I'm going to do is explain to you why I'm going to take a little bit postpone for the mindful trading, which is going to be beneficial for everybody, and I'll explain to why. But let's go on with the trades right now and go from there. Now, this morning, right at 9 o'clock. First trade I saw was right here, right near the open. Price had kind of moved up. It was trading in a fairly tight range. Now, I didn't really have this. I didn't really have these things in here at that point in time. It was really more along the lines of just having this area right here, like overnight. So prices calmed down. I looked at this as really a range right in this area, and this is the range till about 8 o'clock. Price pulls up here, and I looked at this area here as a move up. This is a pretty strong move up. They're in the about 30 ticks. You can see 30 ticks roughly, and then price first entry pulled back, second entry long right near the open, and that's why I looked at getting in. It was enough. It's beyond where the where the top is, but it was enough room to get out. I thought this was going to be another 2-legged move up. There's the first move up, and I figured there was going to be another move up, and of course it did. It took a while to move itself out. Now, if you didn't get in on this trade right near the open. If you waited, you could limit in down here. Now, this is a little bit dicier. There is some overlap here, but again, basing on the fact that I'm thinking it's going to at least have some strength to move up to this area, and you can see that it did do that. But it depends on where you got in on this particular trade. You had to kind of limit in on the thing. Well, even if you got at the top of it, it was okay. But that was pretty much it until later on, till after about 10 o'clock. Now, once this is developed, we have this pullback. Price price is moving down slowly. I didn't see any real shorts here. I mean, the only short that you could see is that you really want to see if this is the top of the range, the new development at the top of the range. You want to see how prices come off of here, if that's it, because you only really have a top. You don't have what's going to happen right down here. So when price does come down here, it really stops up. You can see this overlap. So I think it's worthwhile taking it because, sellers can't take it any lower. And so if you get in and get your stop below these areas here, it would be fine. Now, on top of that, I was looking at it from the standpoint of like, well, there's this range through here where the most touches occur or this trend. And so prices, when it comes back to this trend line, then you can take a look at going long. And same with this one up here, if you're looking at this top. So I felt this was a reasonably good place to get in because it was a pretty strong bar as long as your stop is below this area here, like down here. You want to limit it as closely as possible. Now, if you hung on to it, you'd have been fine. Another opportunity to get in here. So you could just say that this is also an opportunity to get in. Again, you're looking just for the target to the double tops here, the 15 ticks. So you look at your stop, you look at your target, look at the entry, what kind of entry it could be, whether it's a limit entry or so forth, and it would have worked out. Now, when price moves up here, it moves up here pretty quickly when it starts to bust up here. And it moved from, let's say, it wasn't a very long period of time. This was really somebody stepped in here with lots of contracts to buy in. And then it went to a spike in this channel. So here we have this channel. Price is moving sideways here, about 15 ticks. I was looking at I wouldn't say this is a bad setup because there is overlap here. It does pull back twice. It's a second entry long. And this is one of those things that if you're expecting another move up, if you go to this other channel, it's not a bad setup, but you can see that it failed right away. Now, if price moves up here, pulls back, moves up again, pulls back, you got to really think that if it's down here, you want to have a pretty tight stop. You want to get out of this thing because it's not really moving up here. Because this is the first end. This is the second entry long, but then it pulls up, pulls back the next time. I'd maybe even thinking of going long down here. But, we're looking at the fact that this is a pretty tight range. So if you're looking at going long, you have to get in on a pretty decent bar. And where do you get in? Now, by this time, we're looking at maybe a breakdown. And so I would be very leery about getting in at this juncture, especially if prices, it's not I wouldn't say it was a bad trade, but at the same time, where there isn't really a lot of support here. I mean, if this was the support right at this top, and let's call the support at just above 53.42, let's say 53.42. If that's support, you can see that price is kind of breaking down, and you can see that once it gets down here, it just falls away until it kind of levels out near this bottom here. Now, I was looking at this as maybe a support area, like right through here, this area. This is a little bit higher, this here. So going long on something like this, again, do you really take this trade? It's pretty, you could have taken it. I wouldn't have faulted you. You can't really fault for that, but not every single trade is going to work. You can see that price did pull back a little bit more. There was a little bit more weakness, but then it kind of firmed up. And it really was, once the price moved down, you have to probably be expecting maybe more of a measured move in this regard, like a down. So this is a measured move. Price pulls back twice. You're probably looking at more of a measured move area. So if you're looking at a price coming down, this is not straight. If you're looking at price coming down relatively strongly, even though we have this bounce, you have to be cautious about the fact that we might get another rotation down, but it doesn't really work out that way. You see, it really solidified up here. So these are tough ones, and I have to say that anytime you get a move like this, now does have a little bit of pullbacks down here, and there was previous support, but when you get something down to this area and a strong move like this, you have to really be a little bit more cautious. Now, if you were to get in, when you see that here's a second entry long here, first entry pullback, second entry long, and now this is like at 12 o'clock. This really looks like it's establishing in the bottom of the range. Why are these crooked? Okay, I guess. So looks like it's established near the bottom of the range. Let me get rid of this. And if that's the case, then you're looking at perhaps rotation up to this area, and you can see that it did work out, but it's only 15 ticks. It's a pretty narrow range from here. If this is the bottom, maybe it's a little bit more than that, but you can see it rotated back up. If again, like what I've always said is that you sell at the top of these ranges and you buy at the bottom of them, especially when it's this tightness here. So you have to limit in on these ones. But I was more biased for the long, especially from the open. But there wasn't really a lot. It wasn't a lot of movement. It wasn't a lot of volatility today. It was pretty tight. There's a couple of thrust moves here, but apart from that, it wasn't so great. So, I mean, if you got in on these trades, you're okay, especially in the open. But near the end of the day, it was pretty much dead. So hopefully tomorrow will be a little bit better for that. Okay, now let me talk a little bit about the slow hand method and what I intend on doing as far as the mindful trading course is concerned. Like I said earlier, there's enough individuals to enroll in mindful trading, but but what I realized is by going through the applications is that everyone that even applied probably could use a good refresher or a good understanding of what the slow hand method is right from the beginning to the end. And even though I've done it on my YouTube channel for a number of, there's really hasn't been a really long-term lesson that's put it together to really kind of condense all of this. And so I was thinking about this while I was in my mouth stupor that most of the soft part or the problems that individuals might have in mindful trading is because I'm using the slow hand method as a reference that they really need to learn that or have actually a good grasp that we're working off the same page. And to try to do it during mindful trading would probably be too onerous. So what I propose to do is this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm putting together the price action trading slow hand method course. Now, what the course will entail is, first of all, I'm going to talk about support and resistance using the slow hand method. I'm going to talk about context of the market, how to look at the market. I'm going to look at entries, what are like stop limit orders or stop orders or limit orders, as well as when to take those orders, whether it's a second entry long or short, or whether we're looking at as far as the at the edges of ranges and so forth are concerned. In other words, everything with regard to the slow hand method. Going to talk about execution, when to get in and what's the process for execution. How to calculate the risk and reward ratios when you're going into trades. And I'm going to focus mostly on single contracts. And I'm going to try to do that. Now, I'm the world's worst single contract trader. But I recognize that most individuals out there are trading single contracts. So as a result, I'm going to give a method for trading singles that should help individuals with smaller accounts be more successful. And I'm going to talk a little bit about journaling. Now, what this course is also going to entail, that's the things that I'm going to be covering in the slow hand method course. It's going to be 4 weeks in length, 1 hour per week. I'm going to use the live Skype sessions. In addition to that, I'm going to also have OneDrive private access for enrollees in the course. I'm in the process of setting that up through Microsoft. I got a Microsoft service provider that's doing that, and that's what I'm going to have happen with that. I'm going to have daily private posts to all subscribers, to the individuals in the program. So I'm still going to post on YouTube, but for individuals, I'm going to be posting daily private sessions with regard to the slow hand method during the week from Monday to Thursday, not on Fridays, but from Monday to Thursday. So those individuals will get individual private, anybody that's subscribed to the slow hand method course will get that. I'm going to have an e-manual when it's published, and I'm currently in the process of writing that out, but I'm the world's worst typer, so it's taking me time to do that. But when it's published, then individuals that are enrolled in the course will get an e-manual, similar to the one that Mac had produced. It was about a 65 or 70-page manual, similar to that. And I'm charging $100 for this, $100 US. Now, the reason I'm charging $100 is to get people to participate, number one, but also to kind of support the cost of setting up the Skype for Business and all that kind of thing for the software. If it becomes more popular, and then I will kind of probably stick with exclusively in the subscriber section. I'm going to continue to publish to YouTube, but I'm going to do a lot less of that because, quite frankly, I don't find it's really haphazard and hit and miss. I'd rather be able to focus on individuals who are really trying to learn how to do the slow hand method. And the only way I can do that is if I have it specifically set up for individuals that are interested in participating in the slow hand method, using the 800 tick chart, etc. But that's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to be starting that very, very right away. And so once I get it all set up, I'm going to start accepting individuals who are interested in doing this. Now, what I hope to have happen, and this is why I've kind of linked this, I'm putting this in front of the Mindful Trading program, is that I'm going to use the slow hand method course as a prerequisite for mindful trading. In other words, I mean, it's not like you can't participate in mindful trading if you don't go through the slow hand method course, but it really should be like a prerequisite because everyone will be on the same page. If you can't get the slow hand method course, it's only cost you $100 and it's only cost you a few months out of your life sort of thing as far as trading, and most of you are doing that anyway. But my point is that if you have an understanding of the slow hand method course, then mindful trading may come easier for you. But I think this is a better way of doing that. And the other reason I'm doing it is that I realize that many people need to have a real refresher going back or an understanding of the slow hand method in order for them to go forward with mindful trading. And frankly, it's kind of expensive. The mindful trading course, I was putting people don't want to really commit to that large amount unless they can guarantee it's working. So with the slow hand method course, if you go through it, you should get a good feel for it relatively quickly, and it's a very low threshold as far as commitment is concerned. But it's going to take work. I'm going to have exercises, things that you can do to help you out, and it's short. It's only a month. In most cases, it's a 1 month program. It should help you get through this fairly quickly. I mean, a couple of books are more expensive than that. And so I think that this is the best way for me to go. So that's what I'm doing. So if you're interested, what I want you to do is I want you to send me an email. Say you're interested in the slow hand method course. I'll send you out, an invoice for it, and then we'll start it post haste. But I need to get probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 subscribers in order to kind of go ahead with this at this point. So I'll have to wait for that. So that's if I get that kind of response, then we'll go from there. Anyway, I'll talk a little bit more of that over the next few days. Give me drop me an email. You have that at slowhandmethod@gmail.com. That's going to change, but it hasn't changed yet. But it will be changing very shortly in the future. But until that, I'll still have access to that email. Anyway, this is Vance. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.